By means of a difficult work and written records they found out that, in the course of 300 years, a gigantic comet would fall to Earth, throwing it out of its orbit and turning it in its course. In order to keep from having the survival of terrestrial humanity put into question by this expected catastrophe, King Sahluk ordered that the already existing pyramids be prepared as protection stations and survival stations for the humans of the still distant future. He also directed that underground villages and stores of goods be established and non-perishable food be stowed in the pyramids and underground villages. His descendants, as well as the later rulers of the land, also were faithful to these directions. Over the following 300 years the pyramids were maintained, and also their outer sides were covered with very thick layers of lime in order to keep the water out. In the writing of that time they also fabricated signs in the layer of lime which told of the coming events so that they would not be forgotten by anybody. When the gigantic comet actually came, which penetrated this universe and the solar system from another space-time configuration, and is still today named the Destroyer by many life forms, the humans made their way to the pyramids and underground villages and shut themselves into them. The comet turned the Earth, flooded it with all the bodies of water, and destroyed and annihilated everything which was at its mercy. Only a few masses of humans and animals of all kinds survived without the constructions for their protection, and once again Earth humanity had to find a new start after this catastrophe, as had already repeatedly been the case in earlier times. Originally the pyramids and their construction lead back to the sons of heaven, those who travel among the stars, those who were actually the original settlers of this world. Asket's partial explanation from February 11, 1953. Asket says, "You wonder very much about things which I say to you. Your assumption is not correct because the horse was not brought to America from Europe. Precisely the opposite is the case. All horses of this world stem from the continent which you call America. This continent was also inhabited by humans of extraterrestrial origin, from spacefarers and their descendants, around 2,500,000 years ago, by your time reckoning. But, as usual on this world, they got in each other's hair and annihilated themselves. They invented atom bombs and exploded them in a blitzkrieg. Their effect was exceptionally great, and they depopulated a large part of the continent, whereby also various types of animals, as, for example, also very early types similar to horses, became completely extinct. To my knowledge you call one species of this animal of that time Hipparion, which, however, was not a direct ancestor of the actual horse. Even today, after many millennia, you still name many regions of this continent the same as they were named in much earlier times. These designations were handed down up to the current time, if also often in strongly altered form. But they still exist as testimony to that unreasonable and barbaric time. Those who wish to see hard evidence can find it at any time and view it and think about it. There are sites of former sites which have stood there many thousands of years ago and have been melted by atomic hells into glass-like masses. The best preserved testimonies have become curiosities in your time because the earth human does not know their genesis. But very well known in this regard are names like Death Valley, which, however, also still has a relationship to other events in the present day. The Valley of Fire, near the city of Las Vegas, is another witness to the past and the timeless, atomic insanity of humans who populated the earth again and again. The end.